Hey Internet Sergeant, welcome back. Thanks for tuning into the show today. Now today's episode, we have a little bit more of a conversative episode, and we're talking about my addiction to cashback credit cards and why I think I'm finally ready to sit down on camera and admit that yes, I'm going to be team cashback for the foreseeable future. So of course, if that sounds interesting to you, then go ahead, press the subscribe button, and let's get to work. Now when it comes down to it, again, like I said, just so you know, yes, this is going to be more of a conversational episode where we sit down, we just have a conversation about, credit cards and where I see my setup going and why I'm leaning more towards cash back. Because again, this does come up in the comments from time to time. Folks are like, no, he's really more of a cash back guy. He's traveled this, that, and the other. So I thought it was time to put it down on video, on tape, if you will. And I thought it could be a good conversation. So with that, when you come to the world of credit and finance, you know it by now, you're either team cashback or team travel. Now, historically, team travel wins because I don't believe it's debatable. You will get better value from travel based on redemptions, right? We can all agree on a level of points, like maybe MR points are 2 cents a point. We can agree on that. I will say sometimes I think the valuations that people give are a little bit crazy, out there of a reach, but again, for the most part, when you use transfer partners, the points you earn will be worth more than your cashback redemption that is at like 1 cent per point. Yes, sometimes there's bonuses on redeeming for gift cards and portals and things like that, but realistically, travel is the winner. And number two, travel videos look cooler, right? It's more fun to talk about, where you went, get the video of all that than anything else. So for some reason, that's why actually I think cashback kind of gets pushed to the side. And so, one of these things when I try to decide, what am I going to talk about? One of the questions is does this even need to be said? Does anyone really care out there that, hey, this guy said he's cashback? Well, I believe it does matter because sometimes when you look around YouTube in our little niche, I don't always see my opinion or my use cases represented in things people are talking about, which is fine. I'm not saying that anyone's, being disingenuous with what they're talking about by any means. But, if I don't see that, why not fill the gap and make that? So why cashback? Because I've done the travel cards, I've done the platinum, I've done the gold, I've done the sapphire reserve. And, for me, it comes down to a question of value, but you have to be careful how we word it, right? So there's basically monetary value, which again would be the objective point of yes, travel points are worth more than regular cashback points monetarily. But then you get into a standpoint, okay, but what does value mean to you? So an easy example of that is like if you're an adult and you have a whole family, right? Family of 4, and I give you an option between a Tahoe or an Escalade and a Ferrari, which one's more valuable to you? Monetarily, the Ferrari is more valuable, right? We cannot debate that. But, objectively or for you, more value is going to be the Tahoe or the Escalade because you have 4 people and your kids probably have friends and you can't fit 4 people in a Ferrari. So, that one actually doesn't help you out that much. And that's kind of what leads me to my first point. If you go from that example, I've talked about it before, a lot of these travel things is how do you travel? So I was a fan of using the Chase Travel Portal because when I look at points, I don't look at, how can I roll these points into like these, once in a lifetime business class, whatever, cabin laying down, sleeping bed, trips, right? They look awesome on B-roll. Don't get me wrong. I'm not knocking anyone. And if you gave me the option, even money, yeah, I would take that over sitting in the back of the plane. But I tend to look at it as, well, if I can stretch my points out longer, that means I can go more places, right? And so going through the travel portal, doing the economy stuff, doing the Marriott category 2 to 3 tier properties was more than enough. But really that means that you're not getting those high travel redemptions that we talked about earlier in the video to start, right? That means you're really probably down more on the 1.2, maybe 1.5 cents, again, if you're going through the CSR and the travel portal, right? At that point, then you have to think about, well, the annual fees you're paying, especially with the platinum, some of the hoops that you're jumping through to use these credits, that whole thing. Yes, there are a lot of reward nights that come on these cards, but again, the thing with the award nights is that, you stay at if it's worth a category 6 or 7, that's cool. But what are the chances you're going to book one night there and then you still have to pay for the rest of the nights in cash, or you have to, go to a cheaper hotel. That's inconvenient. And so that's kind of like, that was my issue with travel. It was more so how I traveled. I've earned Marriott Gold on my own. It's not really saying much, not exactly a warrior, but, I've been upgraded once, and it was like in Lower Manhattan down by where the World Trade Center deal is at, within walking distance of that. I just checked in super late, and they're like, hey, you want to go? We can move you up floors, look over the Hudson. And that was cool. It was a nice view, but again, I've said it before, more often than not, you have to go places where upgrades are available. So really, that's kind of how it came down to, I don't travel in those ways. And because, for whatever reason, I'm just hardwired to look at things from maybe too much of a value perspective, where like I really want to stretch out my points versus, cash them in on like basically, why go one place but go amazingly when I could go 3 places, still have a good time, but yeah, I kind of was cramped in the back of the plane. So that's really my thought on the travel piece. Now, when it comes to the cash back piece, honestly, is a few different things. I think I simply have more fun using cash back cards. I like the quarterly what's in your wallet videos, where we sit down and see, okay, what card's going where, how am I going to optimize what's coming up, how do I maximize this and that. And yes, of course, you can do that on travel cards, but realistically, cashback cards is kind of where it's at for that. And yes, I understand that you're usually, to make a trifecta, you have a base of cashback cards like in the Chase trifecta that feed into a travel card, but I think you get the point I'm trying to make. I find that level of strategy fun, and realistically, I think I'm a cashback person because, I'm more likely to spend my money on things like these Apple Studio Display monitors versus a crazy good trip. So these were $1,600 each. They're on VESA mount, so we don't have the height adjustable stand. I'll spare you the details. But we can debate all day. Was it a good use of money? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. I like them. They do everything I wanted to do. And truthfully, if you gave me like an option to go to like Hawaii or get 2 of these, I'd take 2 of these every day of the week and twice on Sunday, as they say, because that's generally how I like to spend my money, which again fits more of a cashback setup. And then, the other big reason is that I started the other channel, Run on the Bank. I'll link it down below, where basically we focus on bank account bonuses. I've always had the goal of, can I get $10,000 from bank account bonuses specifically? When I started that channel, I was like, well, is it possible to get $10,000 from referral bonuses as well? Now, I understand not everyone's going to build out a referral network or have a platform where they can do it, but if you do that, and I have fun doing it, that's $20,000. When I was thinking about it, I was like, well, could I get $5,000 in cash back from credit cards between points and sign-up bonuses? Now, you have to remember, I'm one dude, right? So if you're out there, again, with our family of 4 back in the Escalade example, then yeah, you probably blow past $5,000 or $5,000 in cash back. But if I did all of that, that would be $25,000 extra a year, not even counting money from YouTube or other ventures or things like that. And all that, to me right now, where I'm at in my life, sounds a lot more fun and useful than, cash back for travel and things like that, or points for travel and things like that. So that's kind of what led me to be like, what, I actually like cashback cards better for right now. The last part of it, I've talked about it before, but again, I get annoyed at the annual fees and the credits you have to deal with. I understand objectively or conceptually it's an arbitrage play, right? You're saying I can spend $700 on this card, $200 on this card, and I can make more value up over here. But again, for me, I don't really use a lot of those services. If you watch the show often, I'm not really big on food delivery services or coupons or credits. I'd rather just pay for the thing, honestly. I find it difficult to really put a monetary value on an airport lounge. I find that me personally, I end up changing my habits quite a bit to get to the airport lounge, especially my home airport, because I'm always late to the airport. I'm usually getting to the gate when they're like, hey, final call. So it may make me more responsible, I guess, and cut down on some of the airport sprints. So maybe that's a plus sign for travel cards. But, you get the point, right? I go out of my way to show up to the airport early so I can use the lounge. It's not super helpful. And they do come in handy, right? But again, you can also, most of them, you can buy day passes if you get stranded or you have a lengthy layover or something, right? That's probably better to go almost a la carte for me than anything else. So, I respect the travel game, and you can go very far in it. I'm not anti-travel, I should say. I think the airports are one of the more fascinating places. The fact that you can still get on an airplane, and anywhere from 2 to 6, 7 hours later, you're basically in a whole new place. You go from Michigan to Vegas, it's a whole new place. You go to the West Coast to Seattle, that's a whole new place. And it never gets old, right? it's very amazing to me how travel works, and yeah, you can just be in different places. So I'm not anti-travel, but I also do think, again, if you're going to travel like this, it probably makes more sense to go and just go buy your Delta gift cards like you normally would at 5% back at whatever the category is, and do it that way. And there are still some cashback cards that, can get you some travel perks as well. But overall, to wrap this one up, I think my strategy going forward is going to be continue to build out my strongest cashback setup. And if there's interest in this video, then I will actually make a companion video to this about what I think the strongest cashback setup would be to maximize everything. Because again, to get that $5,000 as a single person, you're really going to have to land on 4 and 5x cards for most things. But then I could also see keeping something like a Sapphire Preferred because it's $95, and of course you have that hotel credit, which makes it $45. To me, that would probably be my sweet spot to keep that card, and then I have the ability to travel. I have a CDW card if I need it. I think $45 is worth it, and then I'll just have to forego the other travel perks. But again, if I want one of those, then I can always go and get one of those cards. I'm not saying I would never get a Hilton or Delta card again. If I have something coming up, it would still make sense to do that, use it as a financial tool. But anyways, I really just wanted to put my thoughts down on why I'm more team cashback and why I think team travel gets the love. As I always say to anyone who watches, it's not so much about which one is best as well which system is best for you and which tool is best for you. So when I try to make these type of videos, these conversational videos, I really want people to know out there who play the game, who don't like the platinum or the gold, who don't care for annual fees, that hey, it's okay. You're not necessarily alone. It doesn't make you a bad credit card player. I'm, for right now, for the time being, leaning towards cashback. Those are my reasons. Not saying all my reasons are right, but again, most people tell you don't be so materialistic, but they're so cool though. 27-inch 5K, I mean, come on. That's better than the beach. I don't even like going outside, right? So anyways, I think you get the point though. So I would love to get your thoughts down below if you're team travel, if you're team cashback, or what do you think about more so the landscape of YouTube as a whole in our credit card niche, right? Am I alone in thinking most of it seems to be travel, annual fee focused, and then not so much cashback? But again, there's still value in cashback in my opinion. I would love to get your thoughts on that. So of course, guys, if you like this type of format, drop me a thumbs up down below. Of course, consider subscribing to the channel because again, posting content just like this every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And of course, right back here every Sunday with all the news you can use in the week that was in credit and finance. Again, question for you guys, just let me know what you think about this. A little bit different of a format, but every so often, this is the only way I can really sit down and check in with you guys and let you know where my head is at and get your thoughts as well. So of course, let me know those down below. But anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this one. As always, thank you so much for watching. Talk to you very soon in the next one.